you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 7v7 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the north and ending with Team 2 in the south. Starting off with Team 1's northeastern player here, we have in orange, the color orange, it is Ryguys playing as a Cybran for this match as a 1300. On his mainly same section of landmass to his southwest is Ayahuasca Desk playing as a UEF as a 1400 in Imperial Gray. To his west in Chevy Crimson, still connected to those other two players, it is Bannable Offense. He's playing as an Aeon. He is a 2200. He is tied for the highest rated player on his team. Again, he is in Chevy Crimson. To his northwest on his own little patch of land, it is Unleash the Beast. He is a Seraphim in Tropical Ocean Blue as an 1100. To his south in Emerald Green, it is Orb playing as an Aeon. He is tied with his other Aeon teammate, Bannable Offense, for the highest rated player on his team at 2200 rating. A couple of conversations in chat about stuff, and he is, again, in Emerald Green as an Aeon. To his northwest in Glow-in-the-Dark Green is another Aeon for Team 1. It is Silent Bug playing as a 1800 on his own little patch of landmass, and to his southwest on his own little patch of landmass, it is Sandman 27 playing as a Seraphim in Light Octan as an 1100. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have at least one of each of the factions. They do have 3 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, 1 Cybran, and 1 UEF. Like I said, all the factions represented on their side of the map. Taking a look at Team 2 southeastern corner player, we have in Royal Blue, it is CM Nicholas playing as a UEF. He is a 1700. To his northwest, we have in Pac-Man Yellow, it is Twitchy Mofo playing as a Cybran as a 1500. To his west, in Rust, on that same low landmass as the other two players, it is Gamer9 XXX. He is a Cybran. He is a 1600. To his west, we have in Ruby Red, it is Nomander playing as a Cybran. He is a 2600 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 2 and in the game overall, and he is also on his own little side of the, well, his own little section of the map on his own little landmass there. To his south, we have in Forest Green, it is Hyper 2001 playing as a Seraphim. He is a 1300, most likely playing as an air player. To his west, we have in Lightest Red Pink, it is Rekather. He's playing as an Aeon. He is a 1500 on his own little section of landmass. And to his north in Stitch Blue is Auto X Spartan X031, or Auto for short, or Spartan for short, depending on which name I end up using. He is an 800. He's playing as a UEF, like I said, in Stitch Blue. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 3 Cybrans, 1 Aeon, and 1 Seraphim. So all factions represented on each side of the map. Now let's take a look at what the reclaim situation is currently sitting at 8,000 mass. A little disappointing because this is a 14-player game, so makes it about a little under 600 mass per player. There is 1,000 mass wreck clumpage over on the western side over there, and a couple of 600s on the eastern side. So there are clumps to go after. But for the majority of players, it's not going to be really that much to go after. Taking a look at the mechs locations, pretty much it's going to be Team 2 has everything in the south. Team 1 has everything in the north. There are a couple of mechs in the middle. Denotely, of course, the eastern island here. We have 2 Trimex positions that we already have units dropped off to try to grab. And there is a twin mech over here on the west with a Trimex position on these tiny little islands over here to the west as well. But with this being a very, very watery map, I highly doubt that those mechs will stay online for most of the game. Probably in the early, maybe mid. But besides that, they're going to be just bombarded. Unless one team just absolutely owns this side of the map, then those will probably stay online. Besides that, our players are not really moving a whole lot, except for a couple of them. We have Team 2's Nomander just full sending it across the map, and yeah, he is going straight for Orb's position. I wonder if he'll build or upgrade his commander for the torpedo upgrade. Western side, we see Sandman over here on that western island. And maybe there's a move order there sooner rather than... Oh, looks like the... maybe. And there is a column of record through on that little island over there to the west. Pretty much everybody else is staying on the main land masses. T2 upgrade started here for Twitchy Mofo. I don't expect to be a lot of COM action on this map, even though it is, again, a 7v7, so, you know, crazy things happen in 7v7 and 8v8s, but it hasn't been a 8v8 in a while, unfortunately. If anybody has an 8v8 that doesn't have a desync like 10 minutes in, let me know down in the comments or send it to me at strategiclaunchreplays@gmail.com. Also, if you haven't seen the dual gap match that I casted yesterday, go ahead and check that out. Very, very fun game. Dual gap stuff happens. You can kind of think what happens and what ends up happening. Anyway, taking a look at the middle here. Team 2's Nomander under a little bit of fire from this nice little sliff outbound from Orb, the player he was going to go after. It looks like Team 1 spotted something in the water. Decided, no, you don't get to come up and say hi. So he is going back home and going to stay on his side of the map, most likely for the rest of the game. Eastern side, couple of Team 1 units just battling it out for control of this upper plateau island. And it is nice to have this little upper plateau. Unfortunately, with everybody having access to every faction, there are cruiser missile techs at T2. So unless those positions have TMD on board, not super great. I'm assuming the destroyers might be able to lob a couple of shots over, but again, when you have an arc that goes up and then down, it's a lot easier to hit stuff in terms of elevation. T2 upgrade almost done on board Twitch Mofo's comment. T2, his counter in the north for Team 1 is Ayahuasca going for his T2 upgrade as well. We still see Nomander in the middle of the map now having his own slivers instead of the sliffs after him. He does end up getting a little bit of a respite there, but again, he is in the middle of the map, and given he is the highest rated player in the game at HVT for Team 1 to go after, I would not be surprised to see some torp bombers be built very, very quickly to try to go after him immediately. Speaking of torp bombers, T2 Air and upgraded the T3 started here for Unleash the Beast, and nothing else in the air department. I guess there is a rear naval facility. I'd assume that's going to be the headquarters for him, making sure it's protected. But it does look like you can get some naval vessels through. I highly doubt you can get battleships through here, but you can probably fit a destroyer. Yeah, you can probably fit a destroyer through there. Eastern side, no T2 Air for Team 1, just besides the middle player here of Unleash the Beast. And in a 7v7, I would kind of surmise that there'd be at least 2, especially given the map the way it is. But we do see some inbound threats from Team 2 on the western side. T2 Navy already online for Sandman, getting some reinforcements from his teammates of both Silent and Orb, being able to deal with the forces from Team 2. They are focusing on that headquarters, and it looks like it'll be enough damage from these Team 1 vessels to deal with the remaining forces from Team 2. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for Team 1, there's always a winner and a loser. Well, I guess for the most part in these games. Speaking of winning and losing, Eastern side here, Team 2's CM Nicholas just spammed out Team 1 tech and is about to knock out Team 1's presence of Ride Guys. There is a nice little Team 1 AA and a couple of engineers and a nice little radar system down here, so that might help a little bit, but gives some intel, but it won't keep the territory under their control, unfortunately. So at the end of the day, it's nice, but nothing too crazy. TAC missile started on board Ayahuasca's comm and is done already. Maybe we'll see some Billy Nukes outbound here from him. Couple of Corsairs inbound from Nomander. Snipes the naval facility for Orb. I don't know if it was on an upgrade, so we just have to check that. But it is not at T2. It's just at T1. So if the upgrade was started, it was canceled, unfortunately, for Orb. We do see, of course, because of that, we know Nomander has T2 Air, and we do see T2 Air down here. Actually, excuse me, T3 Air pretty much for Hybrid 2001. So Team 2 has 2 air players with, well, pseudo-ish 2, where we have Navy and Air. So there is that. We have 2, 3, 4 T2 Naval Headquarters online for Team 2. And I would assume, yep, there's one being built here, and there's one being built maybe out of this one, maybe? We'll see. Team 1 still has that one in the west, and they have... That's it. Nope, there's one up here. There's 2. But that is it. Team 2 is winning in the naval technology race, but Team 1 is winning in the eco race at almost 100 mass in their favor. Gun speed and range started here for Team 1's Harai Guys. He does have a transport. That's a Team 1 transport. That's not going to help. He does have T2 air. There's a T2 transport. I wonder if he's going to go with that. Do not tell me he's going down here. That would probably not be the best idea. Attack missiles outbound from Team 1's Ayahuasca to go after the upper plateau position here for Team 2. Looks like they're going after the facilities, knocking all of them out to prevent any sort of more incursions or reinforcements from arriving. There goes the radar. That's unfortunate for Team 2, but there are some engineers nearby that can easily rebuild that. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message, says Otto. I don't know what that... you know it costs more to load a tank than build a team. So it's not about money. It's about it's about sending a message. I mean, he is sending a missile, so it's the message kind of is just attached to the missile, saying hi and then bye immediately right after. T2 transport inbound from Team 1's Ayahuasca, dropping off. Those Medusa? Those would be... No. Those are actually Lobos because he is an UEF player. Team 1 engineers nearby. Here comes the drop going after a couple of T2 mexes. T2 transport nearby. Just so happenly for CM Nicholas. CM Nicholas has to cancel his upgrade. A little bit annoyed about that, I would assume. And he has a T3 facility almost done. Loses 2 mexes in that bout, but it does... Oh, no. Excuse me. Going to lose 3 mexes in that bout, unfortunately. Maybe even lose 4 if those Lobos get away fast enough. I highly doubt it. But at least at a minimum, this one gets some veterancy, so that's something. And this one also has some veterancy, so that also is something. So 3 mexes dead for the Southeastern Air Guard player of CM Nicholas. He also has a naval facility online. Couple of forces pushing back in the naval situation. Couple of slivers really didn't like that TAC missile from Ayahuasca. And I don't think... Oh, yeah, Team 2 knows where he is, so yeah, they know where that comm is. And he has some forces inbound. Try to cover his retreat. And what is... Did he try to launch a TAC missile? Yeah, he did. He tried to launch a TAC missile on those forces. That would have been very, very cool if he landed it. It'd be very, very weird if there was a siren in there to redirect that missile. He is losing a decent amount of hit points, but these forces are starting to go east. There's nothing over here to really go after, so that's a little unfortunate. Looks like they're going to try to bombard a couple of mexes on the shoreline. It looks like Team 2 will eventually lose that force, but they might kill a couple of mexes for revenge on those mexes down there. Team 1's Rygeist has actually transported himself up here and claiming that for Team 1. Middle of the map looking favorably in Team 2's direction. Western side, there's a little bit more pushback in Team 1's direction. Eco situation, Team 1 is pretty much keeping their lead. Looks like it's, again, power reserves causing some issues for income and whatnot. So that number was about 70. Now it's about 100, where I kind of thought it would be initially anyways. We do have a lot of T2 units floating around here for Gamer9 from Team 2. And he is, again, Team 2 overall going for more units. Team 1 going for more of the eco situation. As you can kind of see that lead start to get a little bit higher. Again, it's constantly back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But at the end of the day, there are a couple of mexes going down, so that number will drop at least a little bit overall. And Team 2 will slowly catch up. Again, no matter highest rated player in the game, definitely going to be a target for Team 1 to go after. I would not be surprised if maybe 2 players try to team up on him. We do see a lot of players, or at least for Team 2, are in the water. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 in the water. We have a lot of air scouts inbound to get a little bit of a view on what Team 2 is up to. T2 land, T2 air, T2 navy online for Rekather. He is Aeon, so he benefits greatly from the hover tech. He has the blazes, he has the flak, and he has the parashield, so he has 3 units. And he has a roar, so technically 4, but that T2, there's only 3 of them. And then, of course, the Seraphim players also have the Yenzin, and they have the Zui. That's a T1. They do have the T3 parashield, well, the T3 parashield, but again, I can never pronounce it. It's like starts with an A. I can never pronounce it, so it's the one that has 10,000 shield capacity, or whatever the heck I call it. Anyway, T2 Troll Bomber inbound does get annihilated, but does kill off 1 more of those frigates with its nice little martyrdom torpedoes. A little bit of pushback in the hover technology here from Team 1, or trying to deal with all of these frigates and whatnot. Team 2 getting a couple more of the destroyers online from Rekather, and they're really pushing this center. Western side, couple of Barracudas. Nomander splitting his forces up just a little bit. But there are some torpedoes on board those destroyers, so again, that will help out at least a little bit for the torp defense. But again, if they start being hyper-focused like they currently are, not a super great scenario. And the Barracudas do have torp defense on board anyways, so it's kind of a 2-for-1 combo in that regard. My only thing is the UEF don't really have great sub-hunters or sub-killers. They have the Coopers, which don't sit underneath the surface of the water and can easily be targeted, so there is the downside in UEF technology in that regard. But everybody else gets those, so we'll see if any of the UEF players build the Neptunes, which I gloriously love to see, and say, hey, build this because I love it, and you should build more because they're best. No favoritism at all for any of the other factions. T3 Air, of course, online for 1 player on Team 1. 2 players on Team 1, excuse me. And then we have 1, 2, just 2 so far. Maybe 3. We'll see. But a lot of players on Team 2 do have T2 air tech. Very, very important as a Navy player. You need your own torp bombers. This is a PSA. I try to say it every single time I cast a mainly naval match. You need your own torp launchers. Torp bombers. Torp launchers are nice too, but torp bombers specifically because the air player is usually busy dealing with ASF, especially at this point. And so having your own bombers, even if it's just half a squadron, even if just something is better than nothing. So just a PSA for that. Lots of the T2 Cybran technology going after Aeon technology. I can't speak today, I guess. We have a couple of forces over here to the west from Gamer9. There's a couple of T2 naval facilities here for Team 1's bannable offense, but he doesn't have his headquarters up on the front line. It's back here. So that is the benefit of building it back there, is it's all well and goodly protected, unless you have sailors walk across the water there. That's not helpful. We do see Team 1 starting to get a little bit more breathing room on this western side. Lots of energy being donated over, or wanting to be donated over for bannable offense. I don't know what he's building with all that energy, but we'll see. Team 2 still pushing in. One benefit, of course, of the Cybran technology is all of their AA weapons can target ground units, at least the ones on the cruisers. So they can put a lot of lead down range. Accuracy, it doesn't matter. Just put lead down range. Something will hit at some point. Thought I heard a strat bomber somewhere. There is a nice little Governor-class cruiser on the eastern side here for Team 2. CM Nick was going after some mexes. Nice little run by there, or float by, I should say. There is a destroyer over here, and Ryguys actually overcharges it, almost kills it, but unfortunately was unable to stop it. We have attack missile inbound. These Sirens, like I said, do have the redirect systems on board. At least they should, last time I checked. And that Salem is going the way of the Dodo and is destroyed by that attack missile from Ayahuasca, which he should get a decent amount of veterancy. Yeah, he's at 6.8k. And you live there now, RY. Yeah, he does kind of live there. Transport, oh no, is inbound to pick him up. He's trying to get out of there. Transport is damaged. And there is an ASF. Will he land? Yes, he will. Transport is knocked out of the sky. So, yeah, he lives there now, unfortunately. But, he's not dead. So that's something. And to point out, in a 7v7 game, granted it is a Navy match, nobody died so far. So 14 players started and have now continued to play the game. Lovely to see that. You see a couple more torp bombers inbound from Ryguys to deal with the destroyer and the cruiser, which is now dead. But the destroyer is still here hanging out, destroying some things. There, of course, is a lot going on. I will apologize now, if I didn't do so earlier, that I will miss something. It's, again, 7v7. Crazy nonsense chaos happens. I'm going to miss either an air fight or somebody dying or both at the same time, and I'll be focusing on some other stupid thing. We're going to apologize ahead of time. There is a little bit of an air fight from Team 1 and Team 2, at least between, I think there were forces from Brekather in there, but he has T2 air, to be fair, versus T3 air, so not really that much of an air fight, but still an air fight nonetheless. We do see still T2. Surprised that Bug hasn't gone for T3, but he does have a nice little naval facility really pumping out those destroyers. They are the Exodus class. They are the Aeon ones. And we do see more Aeons here in the middle. Team 2 only has one player in Seraphim Tech, and that's Hyper 2001. He does have naval tech going for his own cruisers, not going for the destroyers, at least as of yet. He is supplying some AA weapons on the front line. Love to see that assistance from him. Again, he is the air player, so taking out other stuff in the air with other weapons is probably a good idea. Another cruiser on the eastern side and another one and a couple more destroyers. And look at this. Guys is like, no, I live here now. That does not mean you get a pass. There's a toll to be enacted, and the toll is his life. There is a couple of exposed E-storages up here. I don't know if Team 2 is... Oh, they noticed that. Looks like they're going after more vital stuff, though. But knocking out a couple of E-storages is kind of nice. It knocks out the power reserves for Ayahuasca. So he's not doing super hot on power anyway, so dropping him even further, probably a good idea. Again, Team 2 doesn't know that. I have the omnipotent powers of knowing everything and seeing all. I don't have the ability to rewind time, unfortunately, but, you know, there is that. Not Ayahuasca, but Guy's being shot at by a couple of destroyers. Another destroyer trying to coast on by. Overcharge. Hey, and it one-taps that destroyer. Nothing is getting by that pass. I don't know why he's not going this way at this point. You've already lost a couple of forces. You might as well go on the other way. At least help out the middle a little bit. We do see Naval Defense really pushing back on Team 2's fleet on the eastern side. Middle is going in favor of Team 2, and the western front, a little bit in favor of Team 1. No real air fights have really happened. With all the cruisers, with all the everything else running around, it's really hard to get any sort of ASF really fighting, especially there's nothing really of that value online yet. There's no bombers really running around, which I thought I heard one, but it must have just gone. Oh, no. Scratch that. There is one over here. So I found one, but that's the only one that I found in terms of the strat bombers. Gun started here for a scene. Do not tell me he's going to... Well, he has a transport inbound. He's dropping off engineers, or unless he's sending them... Yep, he's sending them across the map. ASFs are going to intercept that, I would assume. Right, guys. Oh, there they are. Yep, he sees it. They are dead. Drop. Hey, they do drop. Hey, that's something. So the ASFs knock out the transport, but don't knock out the engineers. But I would assume that those engineers are not long for this world. Getting a naval facility online very far forward. All the engineers stacked up on top of one another. It is not that is destroyed, but the engineers are destroyed, unfortunately, due to a couple of rogue missiles from those governors from Ayahuasca. Another destroyer shooting at Guys. Guy's trying to do his best to block this road or this alleyway, but his toll is not always enforced. He's not really getting as much money as he used to, at least was a moment ago. Lots of torp bombers online for both Team 1 and Team 2 over here. Going after, of course, the destroyers. There are a couple of cruisers in the mix, which you would assume would be the target that you would go after because, oh, stuff shoot at me. I shoot at the stuff that shoots at me, and then I shoot at everything else because nothing else is shooting at me. But I do understand the threat of all those destroyers. There is a, there are some caveats to that, but still. I do find this is just the funniest thing over here. We have a comm just protecting this tiny little alleyway. The whole 20 by 20 map, and he's right there. Eco situation. Team 1 and Team 2 have tied it up 1.8 versus 1.8. Players still left alive. Everybody is still alive, so nobody's died yet, being the key word. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game at 26-26. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it if you haven't done so already because, again, why not at this point? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. It hits that dopamine when that number go up. Number go up mean good thing, and I like number when number go up. I think that made sense. That made sense to somebody. My incessant rambling sometimes doesn't make sense to my brain because I can think faster than I can speak, and by the time I've already said what I've said, my brain's already thought about like 4 different things. So, yeah. Couple of omens online for Team 1. Silent Bug. He's supplying the T3 tech, it looks like, and his teammate is supplying more of the T2 tech. Love that division of duties. And we do see a couple of shots inbound from Team 2's fleet, going after those comms of both Naval Defense, who's dropping into the low reds. Shots are still inbound. Will he make it to the water? No, he won't. And Orb right next door to him. I don't think he caught some of that blast. But unfortunately, Team 1 suffers the first casualty. You just had 2.5 minutes to make it to 30 minutes. Was that so hard? Huh? 2.5 minutes? Anyway, stuff happens. Team 1 drops, and it is now a 6v7. But all the bannable offensive stuff does go to somebody else. So, who else fitting than the teammate he died right next to, being Orb. Now, Orb is sitting at 500 mass income, so that's not a nice little influx of cash there. And no, he goes, nah, it's fine, I'll deal with what I have. Ayahuasca is the one that inherits it. He gets up to almost 500. So it doubled Orbs' eco, and I think it pretty much doubled Ayahuasca's eco. Again, leads in eco at this point, percentage-wise, it's 5% more, if that, for Team 1, so nothing too crazy in the leads there. And in the rearguard airside situation, T3 Navy online for CM Nicholas, T3 Navy online for Hyper, T3 Navy. Yeah, now we're starting to see the battleships, T3 Navy and T3 Navy. Maybe we'll see some Atlantis, Atlanti. Maybe we'll see some of those Tempests. Love those Tempests. They're very good. Destroy all destroyers. Orb says, bannable offense, unpause all mexes. Op has full T3 mexes. So he's just providing a lot of intel. Oh, sorry, that's no matter for Team 2. So Team 1's dead player still trying to help out the best he can. And Orb is like, I'm just going to go home. We're going back here, hang out, drink some pina coladas or something, and just relax. Nuke spotted by Happy 2001. It is done and already half loaded. Not even before 30 minutes. So Unleash the Beast is like, I'm done with this Navy. I just want to have a fun land game, but no, we have to play a Navy game, so I'm just going to nuke everything and call it a day. Use destroyers to win your side. Bannable offense directly to Orb, being like, pay attention to my comment. You will read it. It looks like there was another attack on the eastern side. Looks like a couple of destroyers and cruisers hanging out over here that were wiped out. A couple of Salems having some fun over there. And Team 1's ride guys did take a hit, but it looks like he's working those kinks out. T3 Navy online in the north for Ayahuasca, and T2 Navy also for ride guys. They are isolated in that little cove up there to the north, so nothing can really come out of those facilities for the most part, except the Salems, because they can walk across the land. So there is that. Ride guys, coincidentally enough, still alive on the eastern side, and has killed another unit. Battleships raining in fire from the west. Summit not helping things in Ride Guy's case. We do see some ASFs going to get wiped out of existence. Oh, no, they're still going home. And it looks like the ones from Unleash the Beast will go home. And we do see just again, the downside with a huge map like this, with this many players, is you essentially have to have multiple air players, because one air player cannot counter everything. It's just not going to work out. You have to have multiple people do it. And T2 Torp Bombers just almost entirely wipe out that summit. I don't think Ayahuasca really liked it shooting at Rye guys up there. A lot of those a lot of the Torp Bombers do get killed off, but some of them do get a second pass. They drop the summit pretty much to zero with the assistance of a couple of Omens from the north. Galaxy's moving westward. There is a huge pushback here from Team 1's Orb into No Mander's stuff. Tons of destroyers online. That's going to drive the attention away to the middle. And here comes the nuke from Team 1's Unleash the Beast. Where is it going? It's going straight down the middle. It's going... Ooh. Is there a secondary SM? No. Oh, Ah, there is one right here. Now, is it... No. It may clip it. No, it might. Let's watch it for just a brief moment. I don't think it will, though. I think Team 1 did the due diligence. Oh, yeah, nope. Just look how close that is. Just a little bit further over, and it would have been enough. Unfortunate for Team 2. That is a huge air grid gone. Not only that, the SMD will probably die, and a huge amount of mass fabs and T3 mexes will die. Nice first nuke of the game. Kaboom! The entire main air grid is gone. The secondary one's fine, though. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mexes dead. That's a lot of eco for Team 2's regular sub player 52001 to lose. He's dropped to 200 mass income. Not looking too hot for him, unfortunately. But, you know, all things do happen. So I say a lot of stuff does happen. So I would assume he immediately just builds another one. Yep, he's going to build another one immediately and deal with that. Western side, Team 1, Team 2 still battling it out. Nothing really in the lead one way or the other. But to be fair, there are a metric ton of Omens online, but I do see an Omen of Team 2's nature. There is a Tempest online. Hey! And Neptunes. I saw those laser on the edge of the screen there. There they are underneath some shielding. There's a couple of bulwarks, as well as a nice little summit mixed in there as well. But that's a lot of firepower from Team 1. It's definitely concerning for Team 2. Team 2, no, that's not the right. Yeah, I was going to say, no one built a Paragon this early. There's no way. I mean, maybe, but there's no way. Missile ships outbound from Team 1's Eastern player of Ayahuasca going after the long-range tech. Team 2 does have Team D on board those galaxies, but that's a lot of missiles to deal with. We do see that looks like Team 2 was able to thwart the inbound attack from Orb. Now they're launching a counterattack of their own couple of galaxies. But there's omens from the west, and there's subs and omens to the east moving in. And I don't think that's really going to work out in Team 2's favor. Again, similar attack that happened to kill off Bannable Offense, but I don't think it's going to happen a second time. On it, third time? Second time? Whatever time that is. Yassau's online for Team 2's regular sub-player of Hyper 2001. These things are deadly. Just tons of torpedoes. It's like the missile ship, but in the water. It's almost like torpedoes are like missiles. One swims through the air and one swims through the water. I feel like one has a little bit more freedom than the other, but, you know, tomato, potato. We do see the Tempest going to hide underneath the surface of the water. It's going to take a lot of damage before it gets under there, and it looks pretty weird when it's moving. But it can be ground-fired, so that is something to think about when you are submerging it or keeping it submerged. You're going to still get it. It's still going to get shot. There is a missile ship online for Rector as well. No real big air fights yet between Team 1 and Team 2, besides, again, the nukening that happened back there. Team 2 might be thinking about game enders. That could be a thing that wins the game for somebody, but again, a huge naval map like this, you're going to have to go for it. You have to go for it immediately. So Cancer says, got to remember to keep those T3 subs moving. So Cancer. Oh, because if you don't keep them moving, then they die pretty quickly. That's what we're talking about, probably. Speaking of which, where'd those subs go? They're all dead. I think they're all dead now. That's unfortunate. Again, they can be ground fired as well. They can submerge from the water, so ground firing is the thing. And it is unfortunate when it just wrecks everything and the kitchen sink. We have a couple of comms on the western side. Don't know what they're doing. Ooh! Otto going for the Atlantis. Definitely think you should be sitting in the water for that, I think. Maybe. I don't know. With the naval map, it's sometimes better to be out of the water. Sometimes it is better to be in the water. It just kind of depends. Back here, it'd be better in the water. Out here, again, couple decent amount of omens right here. Yeah, probably not the best idea to sit on the land situation, to be fair. But Team 2 is just getting bogged down essentially in every avenue, west, east, and middle. They're doing a little bit better on the eastern side, to be fair. But the middle's not great, and the west is definitely not great. Team 2 still holding the eco, though, 2.3 to 2.2, even with the huge loss of Hyper 2001's base. Nuke to the north. Almost reloaded for a second time. Killed off 82,000 mats. Hyper, your PC is a potato. At least he doesn't have potato internet. That's a good thing. Let me know down in the comments if you'd rather have really, really, really good internet with a potato PC or a potato internet with a really, really, really good PC. I would argue if you're playing single-player games, just take the PC. But if you're playing multiplayer games, depending on the game, the internet's definitely your better bet. But again, it depends. Does it run stuff but just on low graphics? Or does it just barely run anything like Balatro or any of the like very, very simple games? Which, if you haven't played Balatro, very, very fun game. A little bit addicting because it's just fun. I think it's pretty simple, but there's a lot of complexity to it. But it's kind of a mix of, you know, I think it's really easy to learn but hard to master, one of those games. So, anyway. Lots of subs, both Team 1 and T2 online for Ayahuasca. Another nuke inbound from Team 1's Unleash the Beast. He's really unleashing the beast this game. Haha, there's my dad joke for the day. Or at least for the next 10 minutes, maybe. Not a couple minutes. Maybe a minute. Nuke is outbound for Nomander's base. Nomander did not build an SMD. That is unfortunate. And his base is gone. He's already moving. He knows it. He's like, nope, I'm good. Kind of surprised that he did build an SMD. I know he's been distracted with Navy and whatnot, but he's interesting. Tempest online. Tempest almost pretty dead, but kind of coming online. It did not finish yet, so it's still coming online for Otto. T2 sub Hunter's really trying to help out and keep out the omens. But here comes a nuke. Kaboom! 5 mechs is dead. That's a lot of Nomander's stuff. And he's not looking too hot. 72 mass per second. He's in double digits at 36 minutes. Not doing too great on that regard. And on the interesting Megalith online for Team 2's Gamer9. And he's going to send that to here, interestingly enough. Ooh, if somebody has a if somebody has a nuke on Team 2's side of the map, he could take out the SMDs and nuke it artillery starter for Team 2 CM Nicholas in a 20 by 20 map. It's not going to hit everything with it. He will not hit the rear guard air slot player of Unleash the Beast or the nuke. But he will hit Rye Guys and he will hit Orb. So he'll hit half of the map, but I feel like that nuke is probably the most important thing to target, at least with artillery for right now. But like I said, if Team 2 has a nuke anywhere, that'd be very, very useful for essentially closing the gap with that range. Troop Bombers just constantly sailing in for Team 1. Sandman really just trying to bog down Team 2. Solace is online, dropping payloads as best they can, but they just get flaked out of existence by those, flak cannons on board those cruisers. There's a lot of ASFs here for Hyper 2001. Nothing really online for CM Nicholas. Gun started for Nomander. Maybe he's going to teleport. He really doesn't have much to his name. He actually has nothing to his name in terms of eco. That's going to be a long upgrade. So essentially, he's knocked out of the game. It's technically still a 7v6, but for all intents and purposes, it is a 6v6 tied-up game. You see a couple of Solaces really just giving Team 2 the business. Those Solaces are really, really good. They pump out lots and lots of damage. 3v1 here, says Ayahuasca. Talking about the eastern side. The good thing about that is that's 3 players' Navy focused on the eastern side, which allows Team 1 to focus a little bit more on the western side. And now it might be a race to the bottom of who can just clobber the other lane. Team 1 pretty much close to that, I would say. There are a couple of Solaces helping to thin out the HP on those Atlantises. I say all 3 because I feel like all 3 have their funny ways of pronouncing it. That crab is online. Couple of Salem's joining him. 3 T2 mechs, I would assume, are down. T3 mechs probably about to die. The main focus, I would think, would be the SMDs. There is none one over here. I thought there were, yep, that one is dead, actually. So if they can kill off this SMD, Orb is completely exposed. And his nuke teammate of Unleash the Beast there to the north is also going to be exposed. But the crab is shifting a little bit more eastward. It looks like they are going to go for that SMD. Yep. Looks like he's on a path for that T3 air headquarters. Solaces are not useful because they're not. The thing isn't in the water. And in terms of the western side, Team 1 still trying to break through. Team 2 trying to keep them at bay as much as possible. Tempest. A lot more Tempest than there were moments ago. A lot less Omens. A lot of Engineers. How much is the reclaim? Team 1, 330,000. Team 2, 218, 220. Number keeps going up for Team 2. So Team 1 doing a better job of the eco, and in terms of overall, Team 1 has about 250,000 mass, a little bit more than that than Team 1 totally, Team 2 totally. SMD is ignored. Kill the SMD, says CM Nicholas, and that's going to slow down his movement. Might be enough to damage him enough. Again, if he kills off this SMD, that opens the door for a nuke to kill off the nuke if Team 2 has a nuke. I don't know if they do. Laser started on board. No Mander's comm looks like he's just really trying to assist that the best he can. It's going to be a while. You need a new computer hyper. I feel like that's now just a meme almost that, everybody just has a potato or somebody has a potato. But there's no desync yet, so there's that. So he must have good internet. So like I said, bad PC, good internet, good PC, bad internet. So it just all comes down to use case at that point. Tons of Team 1 bombers going after this GC from Orb. Essentially same kind of play from Team 1 that Team 2 is doing. This Megalith heavily damaged. Ooh, not looking too hot. It is at 2-star veterancy, so getting 50 hit points a second regen, but still There's a lot of bombers and gunships overhead, so once that thing pops out of the water, it will probably instantly die. So they want to be essentially right up close with that SMD and just go pap pap, and then kill it off and call it a day. Again, tons and tons of bombers over to the east. Same thing on the western side. ASF stacking up here, but again, no real air fights happening at all this game. And I don't even think it even matters. I mean, it does matter if you have air control or not, but at the end of the day, if you never use a thing, what's the point in having it? It's just a glorified paperweight. And artillery is done for Team 2. CM Nicholas. Explosion. SACU? Yes. Yeah, SACU. Oh. Somebody's dying somewhere. Here comes that megalith. Oh, it's gonna die pretty instantly. There goes the crab shots. You need to start targeting that. Ooh, the pigeons are the ones that are being targeted. Oh, no, one shot. That's one burst. If that other burst was fired at the SMD, it would have gone down. Oh, that is so unfortunate. And it was almost 3 loaded. Ooh, that is rough. Gimme mass, some bug. Explosion somewhere. Lots of explosions happening. Don't know where they're occurring. I'm assuming that their SACU is blowing up for whatever reason. Nuke is outbound from Team 1. Once again, that's number 3 for Unleash the Beast. Like I said, really unleashing that beast. That's the second time I made that joke. It's not as funny the second time. Oh, here comes an explosion. Kaboom! Was there a nuke that I didn't know about?
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke inbound from Team 2. Oh. There's Plan B's over here. That would do it. Looks like that one killed off 2.9k mass. Nuke is inbound to the western side. I don't... looks, it's 2 nukes inbound. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's a lot of damage. Boom! Kills off both Atlantises, and 2 of the battleships, wounding 3 others. And nuke on the western side. Oh, there it is. It's going to go after Recather's stuff. That's not going to look good. Not the T2 Pigeons. Not the Mexes. Kaboom! There goes another dead base. Team 2 has lost 3 of those to that one nuke launcher. That thing has paid for itself and paid for itself. 136,000 mass killed with 3 nukes. That's an average of, 45,000 mass? Really, really good nukes for Team 1's Unleash the Beast. And ASF wiping out the remaining of the restorers from Team 1. Team 2 emboldened by the attack with the dead Atlantises, experimental submarines, and aircraft carriers. We do have a little bit of a push from the west from, who is that? That is Bug. These forces are really going east, all the way out there. A couple of, well, I say a couple, but 5 Omens inbound. Team 2, 2,000 mass income. Team 1, 3k mass income. And with multiple bases offline, not looking good. Wow, they just assassinated that one Mex. They really didn't like that one Mex, in my opinion. Oh, ground fire, biggest garbage of FAF. Oh, he's talking about... No. Nope. I was just reading the comments. Nope. There's a difference between being like, hey, criticism versus all of that. So... yeah, I think I might have the title or something in the thumbnail about salty water. How much water is how much salt is in... There's going to be something about like salt and Chad water or something. Anyway, artillery landing on the eastern side here, taking out the air facility. 43 minutes on the clock. See you in a week, says Otto. I don't know what that's in reference to. T3 Naval Headquarters is going down for Otto. And unfortunately, oh, look, his summit was almost done. Aw, that's unfortunate. He's still... oh, is he not in the water? Oh, he's not. Okay, good. I was going to say, because he'd be wiped out. GC running amok on the southwestern side. Not looking good for Team 2. This is going to be the last bastion of hope over here in the southeastern corner. They have another artillery being built. That's number 2. They have a nuke. That's good. And they have 2 nukes right here. And they're heavily loading that one. We have 2 possible nukes. Team 1 still has that SMD. They have no SMDs here, so if they can wipe out all the SMDs, they could wipe out that nuke, which is almost about to load once again. Gun started here for Otto. It's actually finishing decently quickly, to be fair. And it looks like pinging going down against Rekather's comm. This would be the first kill of the game if Team 1 kills him off. GC's not going to go after him. Rekather is in the yellow. He probably will not make it to the water, to be fair, especially with them being two Tempests and a aircraft carrier walk into a bar. And on the eastern side, Team 2 has been able to break Team 1's defenses, but I think it might be too little too late. Maybe, possibly, maybe. Anything can happen in FAF, or almost anything can happen in FAF. Megalith's going after battleships. There it goes. Rekather doesn't make it to the water. First kill of the game goes to Team, well, at least on Team 1 side of the map, goes to Orb, dropping this to an official 6v6. Where did Nomander's comm go? Oh, he's over here. Look at that. He's lasering some stuff. He's going to die here shortly. So almost the first kill of the game went to Bug, but Nomander went out with a bang. That's the second kill here for Team 1, dropping this game to now at 6v5 in Team 1's favor. Nuke sub online for Team 1's Rye guys. Able to pump that out before, I guess, the main facilities. Unless he just floated that thing all... I don't surmise that that's what he did, but... Or I would have surmised that is what he did. That's a long kind of horseshoe maneuver to get it over there. Is it it's not loaded, so that's, I think, a missed opportunity there. Another nuke outbound from somebody. Oh, from one of the Plan Bs. Going for, I would assume, ayahuasca stuff. I don't think it can reach this far back, especially with the SMD still online. And the shield is now back online. A couple of headquarters are going down. Kaboom! And a decent amount of shielding goes down as well. But, you know, that's just sucking up power at this point. No power, no win. No way we win, says Nomander. Need lots of E-storage and P-gen for tele, unless, like, insane YOLO plays. But they probably have Paris, says Nomander. Norm, Bug, YE. What is the reality for the unit?
Strategic launch detected.
T3, Aeon, Tank, Absolver. Yep. What's the deal with that? What do you mean, what's the deal with that? Is that hover? Maybe that one's hover as well. It's OP. Nobody uses it because Aeon is OP. Again, nothing. Every use case, it may seem OP. It is not OP in every instance. Now, there's a lot of stuff that has shielding. Oh, look, here goes a comm for Team 2. Is that a Control K? No, that's an actual... No, that's Control K from Gamer 9. So that's another kill here. Not a kill, but departure. 6v4 in favor of Team 1. And the base for Hyper 2001 is pretty much gone at this point. And not SMDs, but nukes are still alive. And I don't think they're going to live much longer. T3 artillery done. Spartan killed off by Orb. It's now a 6v3 in favor of Team 1. It's a 2-to-1 advantage. Artillery barely in range of that SMD. It looks like SMD, oh, it's almost dead. 100 hit points remaining. Ooh, getting pretty lucky with that shielding. Oh, it got it. Nice grab there from the nice little disruptor T3 artillery. But like I said, maybe a little too late. The rolling over of the Solaces are inbound, especially with 2 Tempests, an aircraft carrier, and a GC inbound. I think it should stay in the game, says Silent Bug. I think they're talking about, but maybe... Well, that's a lot of chat. Maybe be buffed so it's used. You have no good reason behind it. There is a desync, unfortunately, but I think at this point everybody can kind of tell which way it's going. Nuke dropped essentially in all of this nonsense. Kaboom! Wipes out a couple of units, a couple of battleships, but he has eye, therefore he doesn't die. Eye is balanced. Team 2 recalls. That is the game here. And Control K from CM Nicholas to end it there. Removed, or it was Novax. Remove Novax. Novax is balanced. Again, everybody has their own opinions about whatever units. But that is the game here, folks. 47 minutes on the clock. Team 1 wins the game with 6 players remaining, only losing Battable Offense. It was almost a flawless game in a 7v7. Almost. Close. Almost. But let me know down in the comments who you think deserves MVP. I do think there are some candidates, at least. Unleash the Beast. I'm going to say his name wrong every single time I know it. With that nuke, 145,000 mass kill. Did a very, very good job with that. And then, of course, Silent Bug with the holy spamming of omens. It's like I'm playing Betrayal at Hassle on the Hill or something. They just keep coming out of the woodwork. Dang, that's a lot of omens. Let's see how many of them he had online. 29 of them. Jeez. I wonder if there's a stat where you can see how many of a unit somebody built. Devs? Maybe there is. I don't know. If anybody knows if there's a stat sheet with like this player built this many omens and this player built this many, T1 mech marines or something. That'd be really cool. But anyway, let me know down in the comments who you feel deserves MVP. Again, I have 2 options, at least in my opinion, being Silent Bug with all of the Navy, and then Unleash the Beast with those nukes. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do all those other YouTube things that YouTube loves to see. And I will see all of you in the next one.